Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where I normally try to tell you something funny, but guess what? Cassie's finally on the stand. Let's get to the Diddy trial. Hey, that actually ended up being kind of funny. Damn, I'm good. Hey. Okay, no, let's go. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, depending on what time zone you're in, it's Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. And to my Wednesday morningers, congratulations. We have made it halfway up the mountaintop. Hump Day is finally here. Yo, I'm in a good mood today. All right, I have a great show set up for you. We have two lead stories. We're going to kick it off by talking about the bombshell testimony from Daniel Phillips. And in our second lead story, yes, Cassie has finally taken the stand. We are going to tell you about her husband getting kicked out of court. We're going to review her testimony, and we're going to tell you a secret weapon that the defense has, and it's about a Cassie bar fight. In Diddy Quick News, we're going to talk about Wale, Tasha K, I'll be sure, the judge weighing in on the media, and Daniel Phillips admits to wanting to date Cassie. In regular quick news, we're going to talk about Cardi B, Stephon Diggs, and Kim Kardashian. As always, we're going to close out the show with comments of the day, social discussion of the day, question of the day, and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. We're about to start this show. Let's go. All right, before we jump into the Diddy trial and let you know everything that's going on with that, I just wanted to follow up with yesterday's breaking story. Yesterday, we told you that Tory Lanez was poked up in jail and airlifted to a hospital, but it was literally just breaking and we didn't have any more information. We did tell you yesterday that he is okay. Today, he is still fine, so just want to start out with that. Don't want to set off any alarms. Tory Lanez is fine, but we do have a little bit more details. Tory Lanez was poked up in jail 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own despite being in pain, and he's talking normally and in good spirits. Wow. I did speak to somebody out in LA that has a little bit more, off the record kind of insight. What I'm hearing, and this is not alleged, this is fact, that actually maybe I should say alleged just to be safe, that this was a race battle. As you guys know, in prisons, there's a lot of GANG territory and battles and stuff like this. And this was a battle between Mexicans and the blacks. Like I said, in jail, especially in LA, it's totally different code, right? And apparently, Tory Lanez was running the jail, walking around there like a major kingpin, literally orchestrating and doing a lot of things. Let's just leave it at that, okay? And the Mexicans looked at Tory as a threat, that he was bringing the quote unquote blacks in that particular prison up to a level that they were losing some sort of control in the prison. And of course, as you guys know, they don't like that. It's always a battle to see who's going to be on top. So it's not like any specific thing that Tory Lanez did was the issue. He just was looked at as a major asset, and taking him out would have had the blacks in the prison lose a lot of their control and a lot of their power, and thus having the Mexicans regain power of some sort in the jail. Now, you might think, hey, Tory Lanez has just been in there a year. Why is he so powerful? Because he has money. He's a multimillionaire. He's a star. He's a celebrity. So with that comes a lot of favors from the correctional officers, etc. So he brings a lot of weight. And Tory Lanez has been, from what I hear, adapting very well to jail culture. He has given up, like, okay, I know I'm going to be in here for a while, and let me just get acclimated to everything that's going on. And some people have said that he's actually kind of liking it in there because he's running things. Like I said, things are a little bit different than on the outside. And the politics are a little bit different. You want to have that kind of stardom out here on the streets. You can walk around with protection and bodyguards and security. In jail, things are a little bit different. So Tory Lanez moved up very quickly in the ranks in jail, and he became a target. And apparently, from what I just told you guys, the amount of pokes he got, you could tell that this wasn't just a warning. Like, they wanted him out. So that is what I could say for now about Tory Lanez. Most importantly, he is okay. I heard that they might move him to another jail after this. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but we definitely know for sure that he will now be under protection, watch, etc. It's kind of a little bit weird to know that Tory Lanez was just walking around free in general population, but I also heard that that's what he wanted. A lot of celebs or even people that have some sort of notoriety, they offer them protection or to be isolated, but you're in there for 10 years. You want to be isolated and sit in a room by yourself. You want to be out with people. You want to be able to watch TV. You want to have some sort of life in there, right? You got to do your 10 years. You don't want it to be in a room 23 hours a day by yourself. So apparently he asked for this, and I guess he felt that he had enough protection. I guess he was wrong, right? And oh yeah, by the way, this happened at 7:20 a.m. in the morning. Like, of course, you're probably going to feel like, it's early in the morning. I'm not being, not going to be targeted at that time in the morning. People haven't even woke up yet. Well, it was a planned thing and it went down. So we'll keep on following up with that and let you guys know. From what I heard, he's still in the hospital, but doing well, and he's out of any sort of risk of anything going wrong. He'll have a full recovery and he'll be all right. We'll follow up and let you guys know what happens to Tory Lanez. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our first lead story, male escort spills the tea, says Cassie paid him to do wild stuff, even told him to relieve himself on her with Diddy coaching, says the vibe flipped when Diddy suddenly put hands on her. All right, we're going to get into Cassie and her testimony and every wild thing that was going on today. However, they did start the day off with this male escort. I wanted to highlight something that I kind of touched on yesterday, but I wanted to highlight on this very quickly. So just give me a sec. We'll cover this and then we'll go into all things Cassie. Okay. Daniel Phillips testified that he was hired to dance at a bachelorette party at a Manhattan hotel, but that he was ultimately paid for sex with Cassie Ventura. When he arrived at the hotel, Phillips said Ventura asked him for a massage with baby oil, all while Combs was in the room clad in a white robe, a baseball cap, and a bandana over his face. Phillips said Combs introduced himself as being in the importing and exporting business, though he recognized the mogul by his voice. He said that while he had sex with Ventura, the music mogul sat in the corner and was having his own fun. Phillips said he was paid many times to have sex with Cassie, receiving up to $6,000 per encounter, which Combs sometimes gave instructions to the pair or filming. One time, Phillips told the jury Ventura asked him to relieve himself on her, and not in the sex way, in the I drank too much water way, okay? Now, the next sentence that is on record, I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to, okay? Cassie was actually the one that asked me to relieve myself on her, Phillips recalled. She asked me if I've ever done it before. She told me to do it. Apparently, I was doing it wrong because they both told me. The arrangements continued, Phillips said, until he witnessed Combs putting hands on Ventura. He said, my thoughts were that this was someone with ultimate power, he testified, and chances are that even if I go to the police, I might be unalived. Phillips testified that he heard Combs putting hands on Ventura and her screaming out, I'm sorry, before she ran out the room to Phillips and jumped on his lap. Phillips said he asked Ventura why she stayed with Combs despite the real danger of doing so. Okay, I have a little thing in quick Diddy news, but let's just talk about this here now. The fact that Daniel Phillips admitted that it was Cassie that asked him to do that really puts some damage on his testimony. If you guys remember yesterday, I said I was giving an advantage to the prosecution, just even in the media, but I could just imagine in the minds of the jury, the fact that the highlight was that relieving part, right? And the fact that he followed that up by saying, she asked me to do it, opens the door for the prosecution to say, okay, well, when Cassie's on the stand, and we're going to get to that, hey, you asked these workers to do these things for you. You're the ones that were calling. You're the ones that were paying them. And yes, I know that the prosecution is going to say, hey, yes, she asked for it. Yes, she paid. Yes, she called, but it was all under the coercion of Diddy. But like I have been saying all week, and I'm going to remind you guys every day, the burden of proof is on the prosecution, and they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. If you have one juror, two or three even, that are like, I don't know, man. You stayed with him 10 years. He was paying for your house. You were on his record label. You got money. You did all of this. I might find it a little hard to believe that you hated all of this and you didn't want any of this, where to the fact that you're asking a male escort to do this. Now, the SEX, that's one thing, but to go to these extremes, all it takes is for one juror to be like, I feel like if she's asking for this, this might be a little much. So I just wanted to highlight that I feel like that is, I wouldn't say completely discredits him, because he makes up for it at the end, coached definitely by the prosecution, when he's saying, hey, I didn't think I can go to the police because I thought I would be unalived. I asked Cassie why she stayed with him, the fact that it was a dangerous situation. So they're admitting to the fact that she was, yes, involved, but then I don't know what the right word is, but kind of like smoothing it out with the fact that she was coerced to do these things. So it's not really important. But like I said, I'm really going to focus on nuances here. That's what we're going to try to do different, that I don't see that many people doing. I want to focus on the small details, because from my experience in court, which I've had a lot of, and what lawyers have always taught me, it's always the small, intricate nuances. And especially with the jury, you never know what's going on in their head. You never know what it is that they're thinking. And I feel like Diddy's defense, we're going to get into it, I've already started doing a great job of putting some sort of doubt. You just have to have a doubt. Did she enjoy some of this? Was she into this? Did she have, a little bit of kink in her? I don't know. Anyways, let's go on to Cassie now, but let me know what you guys think about this. I want to know in the comment section, do you think, or do you even have some doubt in your mind that Cassie had some sort of enjoyment in this, knowing that she was asking it? If you ask me, from before the case, from the things that we were hearing, it sounded like Diddy was sitting in these chairs, orchestrating everything, being the conductor of everything. All right, you go here, you stand here. Okay, put the light like this, record, you do this. I am a little taken aback to know that Cassie was asking for some of these things. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our second lead story. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the morning till the afternoon of Cassie testifying. We're going to break it up in 3 parts. We're going to tell you something about her husband. We're going to go over her testimony. And then I'm going to tell you something that I found out that the defense is going to be introducing, and the judge has approved it, which I think is going to be monumental in Cassie's testimony. Okay, so first of all, Diddy's legal team requests Cassie's husband be barred from the courtroom during her testimony. Judge has called a 10-minute break before Cassie's testimony. A lawyer for Combs asked that Cassie's husband not be allowed in a courtroom while she testifies because he might be called as a witness. Acting on the defense request, the judge said Fine must leave the courtroom when questions turn to Cassie's allegations that Combs R-worded her in 2018. That's because Combs' lawyers said that they might call Fine as a witness later on in the trial in an attempt to discredit Cassie's allegations. Prosecutions argued that Fine is part of the emotional support system for Cassie, who is pregnant with her third child and should be in the courtroom while she testifies. The judge, again, I always told you guys he's been very, very fair. He said, ultimately, he could stay, but when it comes to the conversation about our word, she has to leave. Done. Now, what I've also heard is this was a last minute play to kind of like shake Cassie up. They could have asked this in the very beginning or a couple of days ago, but they asked this. It's kind of like in football, like icing the kicker. Before kicker is going to go kick a field goal, the other team will call a timeout just to give them extra time to think. So it's like, what are they talking about? Oh, they don't want my husband here. It gets her a little bit nervous. All right, just normal courtroom tactics. Okay, so that is the first thing. Now let's go to her testimony. I'm not going to read out play by play for you. I'm just going to sum up some points that I feel like are important. Okay. So basically, Cassie got across the point that she was very young when she started dealing with Diddy. She really liked him. She was in love with him. She said things that alluded to the fact that she was very inexperienced when it comes to sex and that Diddy taught her a lot of things. Just to interject there, I'm on Cassie's side on all of this, especially after seeing that videotape. That is not true. All right. I met Cassie in Toronto, actually, when she was with Ryan Leslie. For her to say that she was inexperienced and she hadn't done things before Diddy, like I said, Ryan Leslie, her producer that actually introduced her to Diddy, I know Ryan well. I was in the club when he first brought her into Toronto to debut her song, and I was hanging out with them the day after. I'm not saying that she was freak off Cassie, but she was no angel, okay? And that is directly from me. That's not alleged. That's stuff that I know, okay? So to carry on, she says that she wasn't excited or so excited when Diddy introduced freak offs, but she maybe decided to do it for him in the beginning. She said that she was always very fearful of making him angry. She said that she was with him for 10 years, and during that 10 years, he put hands on her, which is something that we know. She said about the freak offs that the freak offs became a job. This is one thing I thought was very interesting and damning to Diddy and the defense, what I thought was a highlight. She said, Cassie testifies that freak offs became a job. She told the jury she had no time to do anything else but have freak offs and then to try to recover. She testified the longest freak off lasted 4 days. So she alluded to the fact that she first signed on to Diddy as an artist. She signed a 9-album deal. She did 1 album, but she no longer became a artist, and her job was to do what Diddy wanted to do, and part of what he wanted to do with her was freak off. So that is damaging and really speaks to what he's charged with, the coercion and using the charge of racketeering, using your business to do illegal things. That plays right into the prosecution's hands. So I thought that was pretty much the highlight of her testimony. Pardon me if I'm a little slow. My handwriting is messy and I was jotting things down as I was listening and getting notes from people in the courtroom. They say that Diddy was looking at Cassie up and down while she was talking about certain graphic things and when she was walking in. But a lot of people that was in the courtroom told me that Cassie never once looked at Diddy, never once made eye contact, and he was looking her up and down. And Diddy was also looking at the jury when she was talking about one specific thing, and I'll get to that in a second, but it was literally like he wasn't even in the courtroom to her on her side, okay? She said at one point, this was crazy, she talked about the baby oil, and she said at one point there was a pool of baby oil. That is a little, I think, counterproductive to the prosecution, because we all hear, what do you need 1,000 bottles of baby oil for? But she said that in the hotel rooms, he used to have like a waiting pool, a blow-up pool, and fill the pool up with baby oil. Now, that's not illegal. There's nothing really wrong with that. And like I said, I feel like it kind of takes away from the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, because how many bottles does it take to fill up a pool? It's got to take at least 100 bottles. Like, it was a pool. She said that he used to ask her to get in there fully dressed up and in heels or whatever, but she said it would make a mess. But again, that 1,000 bottles wasn't only to rub. He liked her and other people being in a pool of baby oil. Nothing illegal about that. Freaky, yes. Is Diddy nasty? Is he weird? 1,000%, but nothing illegal about that. So I thought that was actually negative. What else? She said that she took a lot of DRUG and drank a lot to numb the pain, to get through all of these freak offs. She said, like, when it first started, it was something she didn't really want to do, but okay, it was fun once or twice. But as it went on over the years, she felt like she had to take the DRUG to get through. She felt like she couldn't say no to him because it would make him angry. She first started off talking and telling the jury about a story about Diddy and Suge Knight. And that was to let the jury know of Diddy's temper and him being violent. She said one time they were together. Somebody came in and said that Suge Knight was somewhere. Him and his security got a bunch of GUNs, jumped in the car, and went off to see Suge. And she said she was super worried about him. She didn't know what was going to happen. And when they came back, they didn't even speak to her. Again, playing on the fact of he's this big, scary guy, and et cetera, et cetera. So because of seeing something like that with Suge Knight, she was afraid to say no. That's coercion and also a little bit of racketeering charge. The next thing is right here. Cassie also said she got, actually, hold on. Let me come back here for a second. Okay, I'm going to read this part because this is something that we talked about yesterday. We're going to talk about men relieving themselves, but we're not going to use the word. We're just going to say yellow water, okay? When you drink a lot, you have to go to the bathroom. We're going to say yellow water, okay? So this was very interesting because I told you earlier in the first lead story about the male dancer that said she asked him to give her his yellow water in her mouth. And she now got on the stand and contradicted that and said, I never asked for that. I never wanted that. Keep in mind, these are two witnesses from the prosecution and they're contradicting each other, which I thought was very interesting. But let's go to directly what she says. Cassie also says she got yellow water on her during freak-offs, but she didn't want the yellow water, and it was disgusting and too much. She said she choked from having too much yellow water in her mouth, and no one would think I wanted it. She testified that Diddy put his yellow water on her, and she didn't want anybody to put yellow water on her, but it still happened often enough. She was asked point blank why she didn't say no to having men put yellow water on her. And she responded, it was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground with two men putting their yellow water on me. Okay, well, if you didn't want it, then why is the male escort, who is part of the prosecution's witness, saying you asked for it? See, so I feel like that was very counterproductive of them. Because what we said, like in the first story, they're going to try to say, well, she was the one who said that she wanted it, but it's only because Diddy coerced her. But now she's coming on a stand and saying, yo, I never want it. But she didn't say, oh, I told everybody that I wanted it, but really in the back of my head, I didn't. She is trying to make it seem like, no, I never wanted it. Who would want that? So I feel like she didn't tie those things together. And the prosecution should have coached her on that, because the male escort said that on Monday. They bring her here on Tuesday. So they should have coached her and said, hey, when you're talking about yellow water, just remember that he said that you did want it. Don't make us look bad. Come out here and say, yes, I said often that I wanted it, but really I never wanted it. She did not bring those 2 points together, which I thought was a fail. Okay, a couple of other things. She said that Diddy expected her to do the freak offs when it was her time of the month. And yeah, that's about it. I was about to tell you about the Suge Knight, but I already told you about that. So that's really the crux of it. Now, here is the conclusion, and I'm getting this conclusion from four different people. okay, in the courtroom. And this are three things. This was not a great day for the prosecution. Very boring. The jury looked bored and not moved. No excitement. One person in particular told me that they blamed the Emily Johnson, who was one of the prosecutors, one of the 6 women on the prosecution team, and said that she was very mundane. She was one who gave the opening statements, and she was very like methodical. And sometimes when you're recounting a story and you're too methodical and you get caught up on too many specific things, you lose people. And I keep on reminding you guys, at the end of the day, you're not talking to a computer. You're not talking to AI. These are human beings who are going to be judging this case and judging the prosecution's case and the defense arguments of this case. And if people are in there, the media and YouTubers and content creators, and they're like, yo, this is boring. I can't even follow what's going on. Then imagine what the jury is thinking. Plus they have the added pressure of like, man, I got to, judge, put this guy potentially in jail. I don't even know what she was saying. I can't put him in jail. I don't even understand what's going on. You're harping so much on a bunch of things. So, I mean, nobody on the jury didn't know anything about this case. They were clear at that. Some people say, oh, we heard things on Joe Rogan. We heard this. Maybe the 12 or 18 people doesn't know as much as me and you know. We have been very, very interested in this, but I would be surprised if the jury didn't know, I don't know, 60, 70% of this stuff already. Even if you're not super wrapped up like how we are in this case, you really didn't hear anything that was really surprising, or I think that really helped the prosecution, other than the fact that she said that she felt like it was a job. That really goes to racketeering. Now, what I have also for you guys, which I think is huge, is sorry, I told you I'm a little all over the place. I have notes everywhere. So what I want to talk to you guys about is the defense's strategy, and hopefully we'll get this tomorrow when the defense cross-examines Cassie, okay? The defense also revealed this morning they want to raise an issue of Cassie's bar fight, one that did not involve Diddy. Prosecutors argued it was irrelevant, but the judge agreed with the defense that it's relevant because the incident involved alleged DRUG use by Cassie. According to Diddy's attorney, and Diddy suspected she was cheating on him because she wouldn't answer her phone. Cassie was apparently in a bar and got into a brawl where she tried to unalive someone. At least that's how Garagos describes it to the judge. The defense says the incident shows Cassie was using DRUG outside of her relationship with Diddy, poking holes in the theory she only took DRUG during freak-offs because she was forced. Now, I've been waiting for something like this for this entire week. I've been saying to you guys, how is the defense going to poke holes in this? We know they're going to come up and say, hey, you like this, you enjoyed this, this was your life. But how are they going to prove it? There's something about this bar fight. Now, is somebody going to come and testify? Do they have video? Do they have text messages? What is this, Cassie trying to alive somebody? And not only does this prove the fact that she used DRUG when she wasn't with Diddy, but it also proves the fact that she put hands on people. Now, remember, we told you, I think it was yesterday or Friday, the defense is going to say, yes, this was a very toxic relationship, and yes, Diddy was horrible, but she was also bad too. And I said, on the surface, it might seem like, we look at that videotape, it doesn't look like Cassie was ever put hands on Diddy. But I also said, if the defense could prove that she ever did put hands on Diddy, and we don't know, show in a text message, or put hands on anybody else, that shows grounds and will put a doubt in the prosecution's head. Like, we're not dealing with this innocent princess, pregnant woman who's on the stand. We're dealing with somebody who's out in Connecticut visiting her family when Diddy's not around at all. She's at a bar, she's drinking, she's taking DRUG, and she's putting hands on somebody, so much so that this person feels like they might get unalived. This is not the innocent Cassie. And remember, I told you guys on Monday, be prepared for a Cassie smear campaign. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is first day. We'll see when this comes out. We'll see if this comes out in cross-examination, or they might be saving this for when the defense puts on their witnesses. I don't know how they're going to bring it out. I've been trying to find out and asking people. I have another call, but I just wanted to get this out to you guys. If I find out anything more, I'll put it up in breaking news, or we'll cover it tomorrow. Just make sure you stay tuned. But let me see. Do I have anything else? Yeah. So husband, Cassie, and Diddy's defense. Yeah. So that's what we have. We have a lot more stuff in Diddy quick news, but the takeaway from day 6 with the testimony that everyone's been waiting for, the key witness, the CNN tape, literally people who are in the courtroom on Cassie's side. Like, I'm literally getting this from people who are like, yo, I am team Cassie. They're like, this is making it hard to be on her side. Not that we don't believe her, just like, what are you telling us? Where is the evidence of the racketeering? Where is the evidence of the coercion? It looks like, man, you met this guy. He was rich, signed. He had an album. He asked you to kind of do some things. You weren't really into it, but you did. And you're saying you're not into it. One dancer is saying that you were into it. Then you're coming back and telling us, no, we don't know if we believe you, sis. That's what one girl literally told me. Like, yo, I was really feeling that she wasn't into it. Coming here now, I really don't know. And it doesn't bother me that she's pregnant. She literally said that to me. She goes, I don't care that she's pregnant. I am not convinced that she was totally opposed to this. And she was literally just walking around numb for 8 years. That's not what she felt like in the courtroom. I'll leave it with you guys to let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to quick Diddy news. Ring my Diddy bell. Actually, no, I'm not going to say my Diddy bell. Ring my bell. That just sounds weird. Our first quick Diddy story. Wale continues to deny that Diddy dangled him over a balcony after working with Cassie. All right, this was going around online over the weekend, and of course picked up more steam over yesterday when the Diddy trial started. And Wale is adamant about saying, yo, Diddy never did none of that to me. I'm on the fence. I don't know if I believe it. I did reach out to one person that said, yo, Wale's just lying is 100% true. But let me play a video for you of where this all started and then Wale denying it. You guys could judge on your own, all right? Take a listen.
I mean, Wale never spoke on the fact that what happened to him with Puff. He claimed they were trying to get a little fresh with him, but he's probably going to deny it, but everybody know the truth.
All right, that was Suge Knight. Okay, you can't always believe anything that Suge Knight says, although he does have a lot of tea, right? He does have a lot of tea. But listen to this next video.
I swear for God, it's a balcony in the studio, like an out balcony. You can see over the back. I swear to God, my grandmother, they got Wale over top of his feet. They got him off his feet, hanging off the balcony. It's him. We knew it was him because we know what type of shoes Wale wore to the studio, and we seen them jump up in the air. So who put on Wale's shoes? Nobody. That was Wale's feet over there.
Okay, I'm sorry. That sounds like a very believable story to me, all right? This guy was describing, yo, his shoes. That's his sneakers. I know those are Wale sneakers. Like, that was definitely him. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, I forgot to tell you this in the beginning. Allegedly, Wale was, talking to Cassie. And as you guys know by now, Diddy doesn't tolerate anybody talking to Cassie, especially people in the music industry. Here is Wale trying to defend himself. Take a listen.
Your name was brought up in something with a Diddy situation.
Why are you asking me about this?
I was going to say, to clear it up, you weren't involved in it.
I never got in an altercation with that man. Yeah. I've never been in an altercation with nobody in the industry.
Yeah.
I've had close calls, but not him.
I don't know. It's giving defensive. Why are you going to ask me about that? You know what I mean? Why not just be like, oh my gosh, this story again? Like, this is so not true. But you know what? If you guys think it's true, go ahead. He's like, if he was unbothered, I would believe it more. But why are you going to ask me that? Yeah, I've never had problems with anybody. And then he realizes in his head, okay, come on, this is the rap industry. I've had close calls with people, but never. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it, man. But anyways, anybody that had any issues, anybody that had any sort of dealings with Cassie got it from Diddy. All right. We even heard about what Diddy did to Drake for a song, right? Diddy has been known to be out here wilding in the music industry for a long time. So I believe it. Sorry, Wale. And that's my guy too, right? Wale's a big sneakerhead. No hate, Wale. I'm just saying it just sounds very believable and you sound defensive. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. Our second quick Diddy story. I'll Be Sure says a whole lot of nothing every time he brings up Diddy. Why is it that every time I'll Be Sure is asked about or brings up Diddy, he's acting like he's going to spill some wine, but never does? All right. I had to play this clip from Tasha K saying verbatim the exact same thing I said last week about I'll Be Sure. I don't know if she's watching the podcast or not. She probably is. But you guys drag me in a comment section like, why are you being so hard on I'll Be Sure? He's a victim. Even on Monday's show, I had to address somebody in the comments of the day saying, I'll Be Sure is a victim. He almost got unalive for telling his story. You should leave him alone, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, look, he does have a right to tell his story. The problem is that he has no receipts and he never says anything, like at all, right? Here is Tasha K literally verbatim saying the same thing I said last week. Take a listen.
I'll Be Sure. He get on my motherfucking nerve. So I'll Be Sure been out here on this I told you so about Diddy. And this latest interview that he did with the Today Show has really just wrecked my nerve. I'm like, this nigga been stuttering for 20 years. And I think he's actually really been bitter as well, too, that Diddy took his bitch and his bitch never returned. Took the son, too. Had the son call Diddy daddy. Didn't call him daddy. Has he been out here trying to say something? Same thing he was trying to say in that damn interview. A bunch of fucking nothing. He's got a book out. And all he was doing was talking in circles. They were trying to ask questions. First time saying it. I believe he was responsible for my organ failure. Or could it have been that you've been overweight? All I'm saying is him repeating himself, coming on a national platform to push a book saying this is not marketing, but you still have yet to say anything that could have remotely helped a woman that you love and your child. That's why your own child don't even f with you. That's why he calls you a bitch. Because you can't even open your motherfucking mouth and say exactly what it is that he did.
Tell me that's not exactly what I said on Friday's episode. He's just bitter that that Diddy stole Kim Porter from him. He is alluding to the fact that Diddy had something to do with his organ failure, but he was overweight. He wasn't healthy. We have no sort of receipts at all. He's just throwing that name out there. Anybody who's sick, oh, Diddy had something to do with it. What are you talking about? And more importantly, you're putting out this book saying it's not marketing, but you're there to promote your book for people to buy it. And most importantly, if you're really riding for Kim, you're really riding for your son, do something to help your son or to help Kim. You sitting down talking about your book is only benefiting you. That's why your own son doesn't talk to you. Jeez. However, I still think that Al deserves to tell his story, but there is no substance to his story. All he is doing is using Diddy's name, Kim Porter's name, and his son's name to talk. There's no receipts. There's no evidence. There's no text message. There's nothing. We don't know if there's ever even been any communication between him and Diddy. There's nothing. It's just in the air. Like, you guys have to acknowledge that. Just because he told you doesn't make it so. You know what I'm saying? Look at Cassie. There's evidence. There's proof. Anybody who we're talking about, even Little Rod, the civil cases, they have more proof. I'll Be Sure is just nothing. It's air. Anyways, I'm sure y'all are going to sound off in the comment section below. And when you do, please come with receipts. Please prove me wrong about I'll Be Sure and Tasha K. Shout out to Tasha. Our third quick story. The judge weighs in on media access to explicit videos in trial. All right, the judge says he's inclined to grant a request by media organizations to review what a defense lawyer describes as adult videos that will be shown to the jury as evidence in the case. But he's giving the parties another day to make the submission on the matter. The judge says he needs to balance the privacy issues of the witnesses and defendants with rights of the public to know what's going on during the trial. This guy's such a cool judge. I like him so much. During the discussion about whether the videos, the freak-off videos, should be available for viewing by members of the media, attorney Robert Ballin told the judge on behalf of the media outlets that news organizations weren't interested in reporting on something salacious and were not seeking copies of the exhibits. He also suggested an alternative that a group of pool reporters could be allowed to view the exhibits. The judge is leaning towards allowing the media to view the adult videos, freak-offs, as evidence in the Diddy trial. However, he clarifies that privacy concerns for the witnesses and defendants must be balanced with the public's right to know. Thought that was really cool to just highlight of him, just to even acknowledge it. We don't know 100% sure yet if he is going to allow. There's more than just one, I heard. He hasn't ruled on it. As soon as we know, we'll know. I'm curious, do you guys think the media should know? At the end of the day, there are 12 people and 6 alternates, so 18 jurors that are deciding. Nobody else needs to decide this case. So as much as I understand the public needing to know, at the end of the day, this is the USA versus Diddy, and the 18 people are the jury, and they get to decide if he is guilty or not. So as much as I want the media to see it, I just feel if I was Diddy or the witnesses, I would be on the side of tell me a reason. What does that have to do with anything? The public's right to know what? You know what I'm saying? Yes, our right to know some things that are going on, but do we need to actually see the videotape? Just not too sure how I feel about it. Kind of on the fence. I understand both sides. I wanted to ask you guys what you think. Would you want some reporters, a pool of reporters, to be able to see and tell us what they see in the tape? I kind of want to know, but I want to respect the witnesses. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Our fourth quick story. All right, in our first lead story, when we told you about Daniel Phillips, I told you I have one little thing that I wanted to add. This was Diddy's defense team poking holes in his testimony. I thought this was important for you guys to know, okay? Diddy's trial resumed with the lawyers grilling Daniel Phillips on the stand. Defense attorney Danielson tried to poke holes in Phillips' past and even suggested that he had a thing for Cassie, claiming Phillips wanted her away from Diddy so he could shoot his shot. Phillips denied it, but admitted, "I was attracted to her. If she ever gave me a chance to date her, I absolutely would have." Okay, the reason why I wanted to throw this in here, again, all you need is for one juror to be like, the prosecutors are here trying to say Diddy was this big kingpin. Everybody hated being here. Nobody liked it. Everybody did this for the king of the castle while he sat there in the corner, which is 100% weird and awkward. Totally think he is sick. I'm going to say that every day just so you guys don't think I'm defending his sickness. However, when you hear things like this, Cassie was the one who asked me to do it. She said I wasn't doing it right. She coached me, etc. Oh, by the way, no, I wasn't trying to get her away from Diddy. But yeah, if she wanted to date me, for sure I would date her. So that, again, leads to the defense of saying, hey, y'all are trying to pin this on Diddy, but you kept them coming back. You kept this accepting this $6,000. You actually like Cassie to the point where you guys were talking and communicating, having some text messages, and you actually really liked her. And he says, yes, I would date her. So if you would date her and you liked her, were you coming back because you were afraid of Diddy, or were you coming back because you actually liked having sex with her? And maybe that's why you were alluding to these things that you were saying in your testimony, because you actually wanted her to leave Diddy. Is that really the case? And he said, yes. If I was a juror, I don't know how I would feel about that. Wanted to throw it in here. This case really revolves around, was Cassie and these other people, the male and females that were there they there for the money? Were they there for the lifestyle? Were they there to be around Diddy and they all liked it and now they're turning on him? Or were they there only out of fear and only to please the king? Remember, it was called the King Nights, right? So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to regular quick news. Ring my bell. Our first quick story. Cardi B and Stephon Diggs look smitten at the Knicks game amid dating rumors. Okay, could we stop with the dating rumors? We already know that they were dating, all right? We saw pictures of Valentine's Day and stuff. However, it is now official because they popped out at the Knicks game. I have some pictures for you guys. Here is them at courtside with their hands, holding hands. If you notice carefully, their two phones are on the floor. People are pointing out like, oh, they don't even want to be on their phones. They want to be with each other. Okay. Here's one with his arms around her. Here's another one where it looks like she's, I don't know what, like taking crumbs off of his face. Oh, boo, 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 boo. And here's one with them holding hands. Now, that seems all fine, and I do believe they're dating. But here is a video that looks a little bit awkward. I could be reading too much into it. Ladies, let me know. But just her body language to me just seems a tad bit off. But women have better intuition than men. So y'all let me know. Take a look. You see just like at the end there, how she kind of just like moves away a little bit? I don't know, man. I still believe that she's in love with Offset. It's just what I feel. And I definitely think she should leave him 100%. But I'm just a little bit more inclined to think that her heart is still with Offset and she is just trying to get over him and trying to just have him like go wild. And you know, the Offset has been trying to just be calm. And you know, he's had a little flare-ups here and there where he's kind of just wild out a little bit on Twitter and Instagram. But in the past month, he's been chill. And I think Cardi likes a little bit of that toxic Offset. I do. Well, clearly she does, right? She married him and stayed with him through all of that. And Stephon Diggs is no angel. Remember, I keep telling you guys that he was voted on his team to be the least likely player for any of the other players to introduce him to their sisters. Like, that's how bad he is. But I just think Cardi maybe misses a little bit of Offset's toxicness, and she just wanted to put their relationship out on display to just see if she could get a rise out of Offset. And I don't feel like she's in love. It just feels very staged. Holding hands, like, I think it's a little extra. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Our second quick story. Kim Kardashian in Paris court to face robbery suspect 9 years after the multi-million-dollar heist. Kim Kardashian was a combo of business and smile as she arrived at the Paris courthouse Tuesday to testify against 10 people accused of, just doing some bad things to her at a GUN point for over $10 million worth of jewelry nearly a decade ago. All right. There's so much stuff going on with the Diddy case. I'm admitting that I haven't done my due diligence and found everything that's going on with this trial. Also because we know that it's just going to come back guilty. They have them like almost like red-handed. One of the guys is no longer here anymore, the kingpin or whatever. Anyways, this is just more like a formality, but I'll keep my ear to the street and I will let you know if I find anything juicy. I used to actually go to Paris Fashion Week twice a year. So I have some people out there. If I find anything juicy about this trial, I'll let you guys know. But like I said, it's just formality. And, Kim is going to make, not a spectacle, but, she's going to make news of things because it's Kim, right? If I find anything out, I'll let you guys know. If you know of anything else that's on this trial, let me know in the comment section below. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Let me know. All right. This brings me to my favorite segment. Y'all know what it is. Comments of the day. All right, before I start with the comments of the day, I have to give a huge shout out to our sponsor who sponsors the Out Louders. All the emails, all the DMs you guys have been sending me have been amazing. I'm going to keep telling you guys, the ones who haven't signed up, you got to sign up for Aura. Telling you, it's a lifesaver. Anybody who's on the internet or on your phones, done, you need to be on Aura. All right, I have a very important question for you. Is your computer, laptop, or cell phone vulnerable to data breaches? Let me answer that question for you. Yes, you are if you're not using Aura, the all-in-one digital security platform. Go to my sponsor, link is below, aura.com/Trent to get a free 14-day trial to see if any of your data has already been exposed. If you are wondering how scammers get your phone number and why your inbox is flooded with spam, here is why. There are companies called data brokers and they sell your data. They do it without your consent and they make billions to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. This is why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura, to my family, friends, and Out Louders. Aura takes care of the hard part and automatically removes info off of these sites and keeps them off. Aura is an all-in-one digital security platform. You may already have digital security tools. However, not having Aura is like locking your front door and keeping your back door open. With Aura, you get alerts if any of your personal information is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit cards and banking, a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and they have US-based support around the clock if anything goes wrong. And if anything does go wrong, guess what? Aura offers a $5 million identity theft insurance protection, so you're covered on all ends. So I keep telling you guys about them, right? Please try to sign up for the 14-day trial with the link below. During those 14 days for free, Aura will go through your computer, your phones, and do whatever securely and let you know if any of your information has already been exposed for free. It's totally free. You'll find out, and then it's up to you if you want to continue on with them. I, of course, chose to continue because I'm on the internet all the time, and I had a horrible experience, which I told you guys about. That's why I found Aura. And I want to make sure I got it for you guys, all right? Click the link below. I'll put up the QR code. It is right here. Take out your phones, open up your camera, just point it at the screen. Boom, head right to my link for your 14-day trial. For those of you who are not familiar with Aura, they are the leading digital security platform. They used to be the jersey logo for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here is a picture of Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, just to give you guys a little bit more indication that they are superly even a word? Superly legit, trustworthy. You guys know I wouldn't tell you about them if they were not amazing. All right. So sign up. And of course, let me know what happens after you guys sign up. Now, moving on to the comments. All right. The first one is from Charlene from Texas. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Trent, have you ever considered going live? We would love to interact with you. P.S. You're very funny. Charlene from Beaumont, Texas. Well, Charlene, it's funny that you asked that. A couple of people have asked me that before. And I don't love going live. I actually used to go live on Instagram, and then I would convert that into a podcast. I think I used to do it like every Friday at the end of the week. And maybe it's something that I would maybe revisit again and doing it in another format and actually just go live here on YouTube. But I just like the structure of the show. When you go live, there's no structure, and I like the lead stories, the quick stories, the comments of the day, etc., etc. So it's not something that I have plans on doing. And like I've said to people before that have asked me, like, hey, you're gonna have merch, or you're gonna have whatever, etc. I'm the type of person that I like to have a slow grind with things. A lot of you have just discovered this podcast or this show since Diddy got arrested. That's the night that we went viral. We did about that in episode 400 and 500. So I just really want to concentrate on the structure of the show and build that. But I never say no to anything. And once we have our footing and we know exactly how we want to build the show and we have the audience that we want, I could see myself maybe doing a once a week kind of roundup, and then we all get on live and talk about everything, or like the 10 like hot topics like throughout the week. I think that would be really cool. But in the near future, no, but you never know. All right. Never say no to these things. All right. Next one is Kid Cosmo, I think. Oh, here it is. It's Darren. What up, Darren? It's Darren from Florida. Yes, texting is the way to go. It's simple and gets right to the point. I don't need to hear another person breathe over the phone. I thought that was funny. 100% totally agree. By the way, I love you guys. I know that most people most shows, people talk about hot topics. I love that you guys even answer my question of the day or social discussion. I feel like most of the comments are the social discussion and question of the day. Just want to let you know, love you guys for that. And there was an interesting mix of text or phone. I have another comment that's on the phone side. And it really got you guys talking. So continue the conversation of what you would like if you haven't answered. I'm really interested to know. But yeah, Darren, I totally agree with you. I'm such a texting person. As I'm recording, I'm texting or whatever. On the phone, you just have to stop, But anyways, shout out to Darren from Florida. Next person is Kim. Kim says, hey, Trent, thank you for the in-depth Diddy updates, even more the Diddy quick news. The nuances you have brought to our attention says a lot about how big this case actually is and will be. Funny story, my ex and I are still cordial, and he has now added your show to his daily morning routine. Please give a shout out to Sia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I Googled it. Your regular out louder, Kim from Joburg, South Africa. Love this, Kim. Thank you for the compliment that I'm doing a good job with the nuances, etc. I thought it was so funny that you're like, oh, me and my ex are cordial. Like, we're not best friends, but, we still talk, and that you recommended my show to him. Thank you so much. And thank you to Sia for listening. So shout out to you. And of course, shout out to Joburg. For those of you who don't know, I used to live in South Africa in Cape Town for a year when I was modeling, and I never got to see anywhere else because I was there under contract and I couldn't leave. And I desperately want to go to Joburg, and it warms my heart knowing that I have listeners out in Joburg. So hopefully one day I'll come out there and we can get together, Kim and Sia. Shout out to you guys. All right, next one goes to Cheeky. Cheeky says, phones were invented to call, so to say somebody is rude for calling without asking by text is ridiculous. That's a millennium thing to say. It's rude to text to ask if you have to call. Okay, Cheeky, I just want to remind you of something, okay? When you're saying phones were invented to call someone, however, shout out to Morgan. That's an inside joke. Every time I say however, I think of Morgan. If you know, you know. Anyways, however, yeah, where phones were invented back in the day, all you could do is call, A, and B, phones were just in your house at the time back in the wherever it was, 60s, 70s or whatever. So yes, you were finished work at that time and you were home and you weren't out doing something. Now, our phones, like my point A, our phones are not just phones. They're our computers. We watch TV on them. We watch shows. We interact. We pay bills. We do a bunch of stuff. People work on them. Content creators could be on lives. So your phones are not just phones anymore. And you don't know if somebody is out. You don't know if somebody's working. You don't know whatever. Like I said, back in the day, of course you can call somebody because they were just at home. So they weren't doing anything. And if they would answer. Now, somebody could be on their phone doing a live. They could be on a Zoom call. They could be doing a bunch of things. And I just find it's rude to just be like calling somebody. Like I said, if it's your mother, father, sister, or whatever, 100%. But a complete stranger, just be like during the day on a Monday, I have my phone on me, but not only for the phone aspect of it. I hope that makes sense. Come on, I have a good point. But I still respect your opinion. And if you feel like that is the case for you, I totally get it. And by the way, when I say rude, I don't mean like rude, like it's like, I'm not mad at the person. I'm more just like, it was a little bit of a joke, right? A little bit of sarcasm with rude. All right, next one is, I think it's Cat Ortiz. I'm going to guess that it's Cat Ortiz 83. Good morning, Trent. After my 4 a.m. prayer affirmations, followed by feeding cats, coffee, and some TOL, is the best day to start my day. Thank you for keeping us in the loop. Have a blessed day, everyone. New York City in the house. All right, Cat Ortiz, I really appreciate that. Thank you. It warms my soul to let me know that I'm in y'all's routine. I will never get used to it. It will always make me feel great. Like I told you guys, that's exactly why we do this. And by the way, that's exactly why I'm not like a fan of lives. I like having a product that's out there and you guys are like, hey, I want to listen to it at the gym or I want to listen to it in the morning, etc. Warms my heart. So thank you very much. As always, I can't read every single comment on the air to you guys, but just know that I do see all of them. I read them before I go to bed. Shout out to Aura once again for sponsoring comments of the day. For those who haven't signed up, trust me, sign up. It's free. Here is the link below. Well, I'm pointing the link below. And here is the QR code. Take out your phone, open up your camera, boom, 14 days. Just find out if your credit card, your name, your social security number, anything has been reached for free. And then come back and thank me. Thanks for the comments, y'all. All right, this brings us to social discussion of the day. Heartbreaking. Diddy's daughters left the courtroom as the male worker detailed having sex with Cassie while Diddy was having fun in the corner, okay? A lot of people took to social media to express their concern about Sean Diddy Combs' kids being present in the courtroom on Monday, specifically his daughters. While they obviously want to support their dad, it seems that the testimony may be a lot to hear. According to CNN, as the paid male worker, Daniel Phillips, gave very explicit testimony detailing Combs' extracurricular activities and watching Cassie, their daughter stood up and left the courtroom. They came back, but only for a brief time, and more details were shared. One of the sons also put his arms around the grandmother as the testimony continued. However, their family did seem to turn to watch the video of Combs and Cassie in the hotel hallway. Okay, why I wanted to put this in here, I wanted to talk about parenting, and I wanted to talk about children. Obviously, most of us, or probably all of us, will never be in the predicament that Diddy's in, hopefully, and having their kids be in the courtroom. But where do you draw the line with your kids knowing about your past? That's really what I wanted to talk about. And I'm not a parent, and some of you are going to be like, well, if you're not a parent, you cannot weigh in on this. I'm giving you my opinion anyways. I think it's important to humanize yourself to your children. And I know there's some parents out there, I have friends of mine that are like, my kid doesn't need to know nothing about my past, et cetera, et cetera. My mom was very, I was about to say she was very private about it, but she didn't really have that much of a past. So there wasn't really anything to tell me, or to tell us, my sister and I, but it really wasn't anything that was spoken about. My father kind of let some things out. And when I mean past, I don't mean just past. I just mean any bad things or any sex kind of things, right? Not description, but just partners, or, how open you were, or, at what age, et cetera, et cetera. And while I think there is a fine line, my answer is, I think it's important to humanize yourself, especially in this day and age. Things that parents could have gotten away with in the 60s and 70s, where there was no social media, no anything like that. I think maybe it was a little bit easier. But this day and age, I think it's important to kind of like humanize yourself to your children. However, not to treat your children like your best friend, right? You don't need to be girlfriends or homies and be like, yo, shoot, I used to do this, and da, 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 and yo, here's some pictures, and yo, your dad was this, right? You don't need to cross the line, but I do think it's important to just let them know that you did have a past. And I think the reason why I'm having this answer is that I think it makes it easier for your children to come to you about their experience with sex. And if they might be like entering it or whatever. And I just think that it kind of like opens up the door for the conversation. And I think it's better for your children to have those conversations with you than a stranger or online or social media. So that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't tell me I don't have kids, so I don't have a right, because I've told you guys all the time, my sister has 4 kids that are just like my kids. I have nieces and nephews. I have godkids. All right. I'm the guy in the family that doesn't have any kids. So all the kids huddle around me. All right. Their girlfriends call me if there's problems. Like, I'm the one who they come to. All right. I'm the cool uncle. I'm the cool dad they all come to. So I have a lot of experience what I'm talking about. So sound off. Let me know what you guys think about this. What is your answer? Let me know in the comment section below. All right. This brings us to question of the day. Which celebrity do you think is low-key the funniest? All right, the first person said Boosie and Keke Palmer. Okay, Boosie is hilarious. Keke is funny, but I wouldn't say like the funniest, but she's funny. Somebody said Speedy. Speedy is funny in a very dry sense of humor way. Speedy is funny. For those of you who don't know who Speedy is on Complex. Somebody said Trump. He said he's fit to run the country. Still the funniest thing I've ever heard. Trump is funny though. Like him or not, he's funny. I don't know if he's the funniest, but he's funny. And I don't know if the president should be funny. I mean, look, Barack Obama was charismatic, kind of had a good sense of humor. So somebody said Dr. Umar, he be having me so weak. He's so serious with what he's saying. Dr. Umar is hilarious, to be honest with you. Somebody said Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is funny. Tank? Oh, really? Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy is hilarious. Russell Westbrook? I don't follow him really like that. Is he really funny? Hey, another person said Keke Palmer. Another person said Shannon Sharp. Funny enough, I don't find Shannon Sharp funny at all. And I used to be a big fan. I'm on the fence now. We'll see what happens with this trial. But I watched a lot of Shannon Sharp Club Shay Shay interviews, and I see him trying to be funny, like, hey now. Like, I don't know. I just didn't find him funny. Like, nice guy, but didn't really find him funny. I felt like he tried to be funny without being funny. Shout out to Shannon. Should I still say shout out to Shannon? I take that back until we find out more details. 50 Cent. God, 50 Cent's been making me laugh for a while. Drewski, Speedy Mormon, Kiki. There's a lot of Kiki. I Am Cardi. They added her. 1000%. Cardi B is jokes. Plies is funny. Tia Kemp. That's Rick Ross's baby mama. I see her out here, and I see you guys laughing at her. She's not my type of comedy. No. Kevin Gates is funny. Cameron, hilarious for sure. Jennifer Lewis. Okay, I don't know. Lil Duval. Lil Duval's funny. I feel like, I don't know why. Like, he's not my type of funny, but he's definitely funny for sure. Mace is funny without trying because of that, just like that low lackadaisical. Drewski, Jamie Foxx. I feel like Jamie Foxx was funnier back in the day. Cameron, Glorilla. Glorilla is hilarious. And again, without trying. She is pure jokes. Charleston White. Charleston is funny. I get it. But because the things he says are so harsh, it's like, bro, and people don't even realize he is a comedian, but he's so harsh and crash that it's funny, but he comes off so serious that you don't know if what's a joke and what's serious. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like he could be offensive and obnoxious, but give him credit. He's funny. He's out here on the scene. Chris Tucker, back in the day, yes. Who else? A lot of people are in the same person here. Lil Zane? What? Anyways, let me know in the comment section below, and don't be afraid to mention me, all right? I feel like I'm funny. Hey, actually, somebody already said I was funny in the comments, right? Who said I was funny today? Hey, somebody said I was funny. Who said it in the comments of the day? Hold on. I don't remember, but I read it, right? Didn't I read somebody today that said you're very funny? Anyway, somebody today said I was funny. Anyways, don't be shy if y'all think that I'm the funniest out here, all right? All right, this brings us to sports news. Oh my gosh. Okay, depending on when you're seeing this was Monday night games, okay? So the Celtics lost to the Knicks again. Really sad story what happened to Jason Tatum. I still feel like the Knicks would have won anyways, but this was arguably like the series of the second round. Like, everybody was weighing in on this. And I even said in yesterday's show, if Knicks win again, it goes up 3-1, it's over. You cannot say if Tatum didn't go down that Boston maybe would have found a way to come back. But unfortunately, I don't think they have come out yet, but we all know by how he went down, by how Chase Tatum went down, it's going to be an Achilles. He's going to be out all next year. I think an Achilles is 6 to 8 months. So maybe he might come back at like Christmas next year. But really sad. A lot of people now are saying that Knicks are going to go to the finals. We shall see. The Pacers are still lit, so we'll see. Very, very, very sad news. Warriors lost to Timberwolves once again. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I was like, this is over. Again, injury. If Steph Curry was in, it would have been, to me, the better series of the two, even with Boston and New York, to see Ant Edwards and Steph go head-to-head. Can they maybe come back? Will Steph maybe come back for their next game to try to save it? I don't know. I mean, Steph's a little bit older. Do you want to risk it? You're down 3-1. The chances of coming back from 3-1 are next to impossible. Does Steph risk coming back to try to help his team go 3-2 and then have to go 3-3 and then win? I don't think he'll come back. So looks like that's pretty much over, man. My Warriors are out. And then Tuesday night's games will be Pacers and Cavaliers. Pacers are leading that. I don't think there's a chance for the Cavaliers to even come back in that. And then also Tuesday, Denver versus Thunder, OKC. Pretty good matchup. That's tied 0-0. Y'all know I hate Denver, even though I like, what's his name? Anyways, if I can't remember his name, then he's not important. All right. But yeah, OKC, that's my West Coast team. Let me know who you're going for in these playoffs and what you think about Boston and New York in the comment section below. All right, y'all, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for kicking with me. I thought we had a good show. Day 6 of the Diddy trial was a movie. Where are they going to go from here? Remains to be known, but we will see. Stay tuned. You know, we have everything. We got people in the courtrooms. I got everything covered for you. We will not miss a day. And like I said yesterday, we are not just going to cover the Diddy trial. We'll still do our normal show where we'll give you, other things that are going on. It just so happens that really all media is really focused on Diddy's story, so there's not a lot of stuff, but we'll still fill you in with Kim Kardashian and Tory Lanez, etc. We'll keep you guys up to date, all right? So I hope you're still enjoying the show for those of you who are not into the Diddy trial, all right? Now, before I let you guys go, just want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the Trent Out Loud podcast. For my YouTubers who are used to watching this on YouTube, if you're ever going on a flight or you're going in your car, you don't have access to the internet, and you're wondering, how can I watch the Trent Out Loud podcast? I don't want to miss nothing about the Diddy trial. Well, have no fear. We're available on all podcast platforms. You can just download us and take us with you along your journey. Just head to any podcast site, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And just like YouTube, we upload daily. Now, vice versa, for my podcast listeners, thank you so much for all the downloads and the support. We appreciate y'all. However, we want you to come over and hang out with the Out Louders over on YouTube. The comment section is popping. Although I must say, I've been looking, and over on Spotify and Apple, do see some comments going on over there. So shout out to y'all. But like I said, the most of the Out Louders are here. Great conversations, always answering question of the day, social discussion, and even dragging me sometimes when I'm wrong. I love it over here. So come on over to YouTube and check us out. All right. Just head on over to YouTube, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Couple of housekeeping rules. You gotta hit that subscribe button. That's how you become an official Out Louder. Then please hit that like button because we got to get the algorithming. Most important, please comment. Try to join in on the conversation. This is not a podcast that I do myself. I do it with you. So I need you guys. If you guys don't answer me, I'm just talking to myself. And that is no fun. All right. If you don't want to join in on a conversation, I totally understand. But at least comment, hey, Trent, enjoying the show or not enjoying the show, and I'm listening from here. We're building a global community, so we want to know where everybody is from. If you're really enjoying the show, please try to share it with your family, friends, and loved ones because it definitely helps in growing the channel. We appreciate y'all. For those who want to follow me outside of the show, I'm available on all social platforms. I'm the most active on Instagram, however, available on all. And it's always the same handle, Trent Out Loud. We've recently started a blog page on Instagram, formerly Out Loud, FORMALLY. And on that Instagram page, we'll put extended videos or videos that in full that we cannot play here on YouTube for copyright reasons, or if they're a little too risque, we'll put it on formerly Out Loud. So you can follow us there if you'd like to. All right. Thanks once again to Aura for sponsoring the comment section. I'm going to put up the QR code for those who haven't signed up. Take out your phones, point it to the screen. We'll open your camera, point it to the screen, and make sure you follow that QR code. If you don't want to, just want to do it on your computer, wherever you're listening to, just click the link below. Sign up. Trust me. There's something that has leaked. There's a reason why your inbox is full. There's a reason why you're getting spam phone calls, and Aura can find it out. I'm just excited for everybody to discover them, all right? Let me know what happens when you do sign up and what they find in the 14 days. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace!